surrounded by 6 axe-wielding warriors of Duskmoor. Wiglaf and his now muzzled dog Griff are marched down the street toward the town center of Duskmoor, captive now in their second attempt to breach this area, in their attempt to find the fetish doll that is being used to curse the mayor, or shall we say magistrate, of Longhaven, Leo of Longhaven. They were captured, and now they are prisoners, and they're being brought to their time of reckoning. Hello and welcome. I am Scrapperlock, and this is Ironsworn, Antarctica. We are with our maybe about to die character, Wiglaf of Longhaven, who entered Duskmoor, or attempted to enter Duskmoor, in the previous session, and I just had all kinds of terrible luck. We attempted to secure an advantage by throwing a grappling hook over the wall, and it was a miss. And then we faced danger to run off into the woods, and we got away from the guards that hurt us. But then when we tried to find a new way in through the wall on the east side, the top of the map, we got a miss, and we paid the price. A hunter outside of Duskmoor, who was out hunting in the woods, caught us, and we got into a battle. He only had a bow and arrow, and we were able to defeat him pretty well. Then we managed to try to get into Duskmoor again, and we couldn't find any way in. And so we circled to the east gate and realized we're going to just have to make a frontal assault. There's just no other way in here, and we've got to go in. We've got to get this fetish doll before Leo dies. And we got into a fight, and we rolled double tens, a matched miss on ending the fight. We had 6 progress, and we rolled double tens. Doesn't matter. We could have had 10 progress. Double tens would be a miss, and we were captured, and now we are being marched into Duskmoor. And I think, since the Ace Gate is one area from the settlement square, I think they're going to march him to the town square. And I've described this before as that there are stockades, and there's like just sort of a town center, like a maybe not even a paved area, probably just mostly dirt, maybe wooden planks put down. There's a stockade, and probably a watering area for horses, and it's sort of the settlement square, and maybe there's some sort of a tavern fronting on the settlement square, and they march him in, and there are some citizens around, and they're carrying torches. They were alerted to this because we had some misses, and standing there is Kova. Now, I hadn't really described Kova before, but I picture him being a massive guy. He's armored, he's geared for war, so he's wearing a chain shirt, and he's got the skull of a bear on his head, and he has a massive two-handed battle axe that he's sort of resting his arm against, and he sees them come in, and he says, "So, this is the person who's been constantly harassing us and trying to get in here. Who are you, and why are you here?" And so now we have to figure out, what is Wiglaf going to do? I think Wiglaf is going to... I think he's going to... Let's see. Should he try to deceive him? I mean, he was caught red-handed killing guards and attacking them, so I think there's no point. So I think Wiglaf is simply going to say... he's going to say, "I am Wiglaf of Longhaven, and I am here because I'm trying to help the magistrate of Longhaven." And Kova says, "And why would you need to come here to help him?" And Wiglaf says, "Because he is suffering from a curse." And Kova says, "Well, I'm not sure why I have anything to do with that. I don't have the power to curse anyone. I am simply a soldier, and he hefts his two-handed axe. But you have killed some of my men, and you came in here before, didn't you? You freed our other prisoners. That means you are in the temple. And that means you know too much. They think that means we're going to have to kill you. And so now the question is Kova going to try to do that? Like, is he going to order the death himself, or is he going to say, we have to wait for Valeri, who we know is the one who's really in charge? So I think it's likely that he's going to say, let's see what the husk says. Maybe they're going to sacrifice this guy. Is he going to wait and see? We roll an 88, so yes, he's going to wait and see. Another question I have is, are there zealots here right now? I think that's also likely. And we roll a 78, so yes. So I think flanking Kova are two of these zealots, these cultists of Angus, with their brands on their right hand, their dark mark, if you will, of Angus, and their characteristic robes of black. And Kova says, I think a simple execution is too easy for him. I think he should be sacrificed to our god. And the zealots nod, and he says, take them to the temple. And at midnight, perform the sacrifice. So we have a few hours, because it's not midnight yet, but it is night. So they march Wiglaf through the square, past the weaponsmith shop, to the Temple of Death. And they open the temple doors, and they bring him inside. He is bound. They bind him, they gag him. They keep Griff muzzled, and they decide they're going to kill the dog too. Why not? And they bring them in, and they tie them to the altar. And the zealots kind of snicker at him, and one of the zealots says, enjoy your last few hours, Longhavener. Soon you will be with our god. And then they leave the temple and close the door. Now, you'll notice I haven't made any moves. One of the reasons I haven't done that is because moves are made by the player character, not by the NPCs. And Wiglaf really couldn't do anything here. He was captured. We're paying the price of a previous move. And Griff is muzzled. And there really isn't anything that Wiglaf could do. So now what we've got to do is figure out if there's a way we can get out of here. Before we do that, I do want to mention where we are with our player character. We have almost 10 boxes checked on the failure track. And so at some point, I want to upgrade my assets. Now, one thing we could potentially do, if we get experience, is upgrade Griff. And Griff can aid us in combat, if we can get him out. We can make him ferocious, and then when we strike or clash, and we score a hit, we can inflict extra harm or take extra momentum. And I think that would be something that, as a GM, I might allow Wiglaf to have, because he's got the dog with him, and you could see how the dog might be pushed to becoming more ferocious. The other assets that I was looking for, Ironclad, Shield Bearer, we can't buy those in here, because we don't even have, right now, Wiglaf has been disarmed. He has no dagger, no shield, no spear. So we're going to need to get some kind of a weapon. And Wayfinder is for undertaking journeys. Again, it's not clear to me that he would learn anything here, but I think it's possible that we could upgrade Griff, that Griff could be pretty PO'd right now. And so I think what we're going to do is go ahead and make our learn from our mistakes roll. We've got as high as we can get, other than the 10s, and I don't want to wait to fail more. Let's try and learn from our failures. So what we're going to do is, this is a progress move, and we hope that these awful dice don't curse me again. So the failure track, if it's +6 or greater, you can roll it, and we ignore momentum, and we can discard an asset and take 2 experience. We can take more momentum. We can take 3 experience and clear all progress, and so on, if we get a strong hit. So let's see what we get. We roll a 3 and a 7. It is a strong hit. So we get 3 experience points, right? And so that means, let me just draw them on here. The way this works is you put little X's in the box when you gain the experience, and then when you spend it, you fill the box in with a circle. So we have 4 experience now, and then with a strong hit, we can swear an iron vow. I'm not going to do that. Discard an asset and take 2 experience for each marked ability. I don't think we're going to do that. We have our assets, and our assets are fine. Or we can take 3 momentum. So I think we're going to take 3 momentum. And that brings our momentum back up to 8. And it now gives us some experience, and we're going to go ahead and spend 2 experience. Right? When you spend experience, does it have it here? When you advance, right? You can gain 3 experience to gain a new asset, or 2 experience to upgrade an asset. So what I think I'm going to do is upgrade Griff. So Griff is now ferocious. Okay, and that means that when we strike or clash, we can use Griff to help us. That's if we can get him out of here. That leaves us with 2 experience left, because we have now completed that and completed that. So we now have 2 experience left, which we can use to upgrade the skirmisher asset, but we need to get our spear back first, because we have to have a spear. So we will potentially upgrade that if we can find a spear. Now, I will point out that there is a weaponsmith shop down in this section here, so it's possible that we might be able to get in there and, like sort of break in and steal a weapon, and maybe there's a spear. We'll have to ask the Oracle. We're actually in pretty good shape in terms of supply health and spirit and momentum at this point. But let me go ahead and progress tracks. I'm going to create a new failure track. Let's just get rid of this one because we're finished with this. And I will just erase all of that. And we'll create a new failure track. So this is failure track 2. I'd like to keep track of how many failure tracks we have and how far along we go before we get experience each time. So this one was completed, and I'm going to just write in here strong hit, just so that we know. And we got 3 XP. So now we don't have any failures to learn from, but we have a sharp and ferocious hound. So now we're ready to try something. So Wiglaf is tied up. He's tied to the altar. And Griff is muzzled and is tied up next to him. So the question is, how can we get them out of this? And I think one possibility is Wiglaf could sort of shift himself against the altar, and it's a rough stone altar, and he can take his bonds and start kind of rubbing them against there and see if he can break out of the bonds. And I think we're going to try and see what happens. So I think this is face danger, and we're using endurance and strength because he's probably scratching his arms a little bit as he does this. And he's rubbing the ropes against the side of the altar and trying to see if he can get out. So let's roll. If we roll a miss, then he can't move into that position. If we roll a hit, then he can. We get a 3, plus 3 is 6 against a 4 and an 8, weak hit. So I think this makes sense. Right, we succeed at a cost. So he manages to rub and rub and rub and snap the rope so that his hands are now free. And this, of course, takes him a lot of time, and so we're delayed. And that's going to lose us 1 momentum. So we're down to 7 momentum. I think that makes the most sense. And so he manages to break the bond. So the first thing he's going to do is reach over and pull the muzzle off of Griff and untie Griff and then untie himself. So now they're in the temple. Their hands and feet and legs, paws are free. And Griff, we can use his ferocity now. But we have to get out of here. Now, I believe in the last time we were here, and I'm going to pause and check, I believe there might be a side door. So I'm going to check that, and if that's true, we're going to try to see if we can use that side door. My memory was correct. If you notice here, Wiglaf found an opportunity. There's a side door that allowed him to sneak into the temple. So Wiglaf is going to try and secure an advantage. He is going to try to attempt to get out of this temple and sneak out the side door. Now, he has no weapons, so he can still fight unarmed, but he has no weapons. So we have to hope that we get some hits here. So he's going to, or had to be creepy. He has to be Shadow, right? Unfortunately. Come on, Griff. Let's go out through this door. And he goes to the door. And actually, before we do that, before we do that, I think he's going to listen at the door. And he's going to use Griff. And he's going to say, Griff, do you hear anything? Do you hear anything out there? And he's going to listen at the door and try to gather information and see if there's anybody guarding this door. Now, they think he's tied up, so maybe there isn't. So let's see. We're rolling plus wits, but we have plus 3 because of Griff. So 6 plus 3 is 9 against a 4 and a 3. Strong hit. So that means that we discover something helpful or specific. So I think what this means, we take plus 2 momentum, so that's great. We go up to a 9, so that's excellent. I think what this means is that they listen at the door, and since it was a strong hit, they don't hear anything because there's nobody out on the side door. Okay? So they don't hear anybody out there because there's nobody guarding the side door. So now Wiglaf is going to try the door and see if it's locked. And he's doing this with stealth again, Shadow, plus 2. We roll a 4 plus 2 is 6 against a 9 and a 7. That would be a miss. I'm going to burn momentum to make it a weak hit. So we go down to 0 and back up to 2. So the weak hit on this says that we get one of the above. We can either add plus 1 to our next move or take plus 2 momentum. So I'm going to go ahead and take plus 2 momentum. I'm going to say that Wiglaf tries the door and it is unlocked and he pushes it open. And we know from our previous move that it's night, it's dark, and nobody's here. Now they're going to be coming at midnight, and it's getting close. My guess is it's like 10:30, so we don't have a lot of time. But he pushes open the door, and Griff pokes his head out, sniffing. Wiglaf looks out. So far, so good. There's nobody here. And so now we're in this section, and Wiglaf is going to try and head. I keep putting it on top of the squares. I shouldn't. We're in this Temple of Death, and Wiglaf is going to try and... can I put this up? Yes, I want to bring this forward. I want to bring it to the front. There we go. Wiglaf is going to head to the next section because we know that there's a weaponsmith in the next section. So now we have to delve the depths, right? We've made 3 progress, quote unquote. I think this is hilarious. We're going to delve the depths and we're going to head to. So this isn't actually the weaponsmith shop, right? This is the street. Right, so I'm going to call this Weaponsmith Street, and the shop will be another area that we'll have to go inside. But we're now on that street, and we're going to delve the depths. And I think Wiglaf, unfortunately, is rolling Shadow here. He's trying to be quiet, trying to stick to the shadows, and heading to the street where the Weaponsmith shop is. And so we're going to roll plus Shadow. What do we have? 4 momentum is not great. We got to hope to get some luck here. Let's see what happens. We roll a 4 plus 2 is 6 against a 4 and a 6. Weak hit. So now we use Shadow. So now we're going to roll and see what happens. 96. And that is mark progress and find an opportunity. And I think the opportunity is going to be the shop. Right? I think this makes perfect sense. So we mark progress. We get 2 progress per area here. So Wiglaf has made some progress. and we find an opportunity, right? So if we take a look at the move, find an opportunity, right? On a strong hit, you can pick or envision. On a weak hit, you're supposed to roll, but I think that it makes the most sense that we're at the weapon shop, and let's put it. So how about this? If we get into the weapon shop, he's going to find a spear that will replace his old one. So we're going to take an immediate next move at +1, and Wiglaf is going to go around the side of the shop. We find a side door to the shop, and it's open. Or is it? He's going to try to get in, and I think we'll delve the depths and see if he can get in. So Wiglaf is now using, I think, still Shadow, and we're taking +1 on this roll. So we have +3. So we roll a 6. +3 is 9 against a 4 and a 5 strong hit. So we mark progress and find an opportunity. So I think the first opportunity is the doors open. We get inside. There's nobody in there, and there are racks of weapons and shields, and Wiglaf can get his gear back. All right, I think that makes the most sense. So Wiglaf, so we're going to put another area here. And we're going to call this the weapon shop. And in this area, whoops, no, I don't want to do that. In this area, we have found opportunities twice, right? Including with a strong hit. And we also mark progress. So we're making some progress here, guys. I bet you didn't think we were going to live. And just dice are being kinder to me tonight, knock on wood. All right, so now Wiglaf is going to pick up a new spear. It's even better than his old one. It's made quite well, and it's got an iron tip, and he's super happy about it. And he's got a dog who's now ferocious as well as sharp, and I think at this point we can go ahead and spend our remaining experience. Let's go ahead and do it. I think it makes sense to go to our assets here. I was going to get a new asset, but let's just go ahead and upgrade the existing ones because I think that makes the most sense in character. So now when we strike in close combat, we may attempt to drive our spear home. We decide ahead of time. If we do, we had +1 to the roll, +2 harm on a hit, which would mean we would do 4 harm on a regular hit, 5 on a strong hit. That would cripple almost anybody. If we score a hit and the fight continues, we have to face danger plus iron to recover the spear. So somebody remind me to do that because I'm sure I'll forget. Okay, so now we only have 4 momentum, which isn't great, but we've come a long way and we now are weaponed up. And so now we're going to head out of the weapon shop. He's going to go back, sneak back to the main street here. Oh, it keeps changing size instead of, there we go. So going to go back to the main street, and I think what Wiglaf is going to do, we've got to figure out where this fetish doll is. So I think Wiglaf is going to, you know what? I just had an idea. Maybe the zealots have the fetish doll. It's possible we could, now that we have weapons, hide in the temple and ambush them when they come in to sacrifice us. Now that's going to depend on how many come in here to sacrifice. If it's just the 2 that tied us up, we might be okay. If it's more than that, we might have a problem. So I'm not sure. Or should we keep looking around here? The question is, how are we going to find the guy who has the fetish doll? Is it Kova? maybe it is. Um, by the way, we're now sort of active inside this delve, and that is, if we look here on the save Leo, re-enter Duskmoor is one of the um, sort of quest elements. So we're going to go ahead and mark 2 boxes for that. Nope, that's wrong. That's the wrong track. That's the background vow, and it shouldn't be that thick anyway. So we're going to go ahead and mark 2 boxes for that, because each progress is 2 ticks. And I think that if we can do something with Kova here, we might be able to mark progress. So what should we do? Should we go back to the temple, or should we explore here further? I think we should explore a little further. There's another gate down here. I want to see what's further up this street to the north, right? That's the north side, and we know there's more out here. So let's delve the depths and see what happens. So let's find an area. So the next area is... So wait a minute, we hang on. Got to delve the depths first, and then we come to a new area, right? So delve the depths. No, sorry. We have to traverse the area, so we've got to have the... I haven't done this in a while. So we've got to figure out what's the next area. So it goes down the street, and 23. We find connecting passageways. That doesn't make any sense. Let's look at 32. No, 32 is the same thing. We're not inside anything. So let's try again. 28. It's still telling me connecting passageways. Okay, so I guess it's an alley. So we get to a narrow alley, and we have to pass through here to find out what's on the other side. And there's no significance to the fact that... Whoops, no, undo. There's no significance to the fact that it's thicker. I just had a thicker pen selected. Doesn't really matter. So we go down the narrow alley, and we delve the depths. And let's see what we find, because I'm not sure how we're going to find this, the fetish doll. So we're going to just have to keep wandering around till something presents itself, I guess, and see what happens. Wouldn't have bet that we'd still be alive and have our weapons by now. Okay, so delving the depths. So Wiglaf is moving between buildings that are close to each other, and he's kind of moving down this narrow alley, him in front, Griff behind, and he's going, again, I think, with stealth, rolling plus shadow, and we roll a 4 plus 2 is 6 against an 8 and a 4, weak hit. And rolling on the shadow random, we mark progress, and we roll a 22, so we reveal a danger. So we come out the other side of the alley. Let's go ahead and mark our progress. So we're near the end of this delve, but we still haven't found anything yet. Maybe we will. What's the danger? So let's reveal a danger. And let's see what we get. We roll a 19. Check the theme card. Okay, and a 19 on the theme card is a command center. Well, I guess the narrow alley lets on to the actual hill fort. What should we call it? I don't want to call it a keep, but let's call it like Kova's manor house. I don't know that it's a manor house, but you know what I mean. It's sort of the command center. And I think this is I guess we're going to do a showdown with Kova. So Wiglaf comes out the alley and he's like on the side of this hill that heads up, and on top of it is a big, like wooden defended, like a giant, like a large A-frame, um, with solid doors, and this is where Kova's home is, right? This is where Kova's domicile, and so it's a command center or leadership. We revealed a danger, so obviously it's guarded. So there are going to be guards. I'm going to say warriors, probably pair of warriors, or is it warriors? Okay, how about this? Um, let's ask the oracle: are there just warriors? There might also be guard dogs. Um, I think it's likely there are guard dogs. So are there guard dogs? 56, yes, because it's 26 or greater. So, are there both warriors and guard dogs? I think it's likely. 51, 7, yes, so there's both. So, is there more than one guard dog? Let's say 50-50. 9, no, so there's a single guard dog. Is there more than one guard warrior? Let's say 50-50. 95, yes, so there are 2 guards, we'll say, and 1 guard dog. Now, if we look at their strengths, the guard dog is troublesome, the warriors are dangerous, so if we get in a fight with all 3 of them, I'm going to make it a formidable fight. So there are 2 warriors and a guard dog, and they're standing at the front. And or are they? Are they facing front, or are they on patrol? Like, are they patrolling around? Let's say it's likely that they're just facing the front door. 93, yeah. So they're facing the front door, and the front door is, let's say, up here. And then we've come out on the side here, and he can see the guards up there. And is there any other way in? I'm going to say that that's a small chance. Actually, no. Rather than a small chance, let's gather information. I think Wiglaf is going to, with Griff, they're going to sneak around, and they're going to see if they can find a way in. And actually, rather than gathering information, I think this is securing an advantage because we should be rolling plus shadow here. Right, so they're kind of sneaking around, trying to be quiet, and they're trying to see if they can find a back door that's not guarded. And we roll a 5, plus 2 is a 7 against a 5 and a 2 strong hit. So I think that means that there's going to be a potentially unguarded side or back door. And so let's see. Let's ask the oracle. Is it a back door? 50-50. 1, no. So it's a side door. So there's an unguarded side door that the guard dog and the 2 guards are facing to the top of the map, the east. This side door is on the south, the right side of the map, and it isn't guarded. And we did this with shadow, so they didn't detect us. Okay. So, so strong hit. We can make another move now and add +1, and we take +2 momentum. We get both because this is the Starforged version of it. So we can make another move now and +1. And I think what we're going to do is Wiglaf is going to try to go inside really fast and shut the door behind him. So this is rolling plus edge, rolling extra +1, so +4, and we'll see what happens. So like, this is where if it's a miss, the door's locked and he can't get in, and they hear him, and if it's a hit, then he gets in. So you roll 5 + 4 is a 9 against a 9 and a 7. That is a weak hit. So we succeed, but face a troublesome cost. So let's think about this. All right, so we get inside, and there's going to be some sort of a danger inside, and we'll lose 1 momentum. So we drop back down to 5. So it takes him a while to sneak in because he's trying to be a little quiet, and he doesn't end up moving as fast as he wanted to. Let's see what the danger is. Let's just reveal the danger and see what happens. 49. We encounter a hostile denizen. Okay, so is it Kova? Did we just walk right into Kova? I don't know. Let's ask the Oracle. Did we just walk right into Kova? It's Kova's house. I think it's likely that we opened the door and we just walked into his bedroom. 13. No, we did not encounter Kova. So we encountered somebody else. Did we maybe encounter member of his household? Let's see. Let's roll Denizen and see what we encounter. 19. Common folk. So, is this Kova's wife? I think this is likely. His mate. Maybe not his wife, his girlfriend, his lover. Say likely? 61, yeah. So we walk in and shut the door real quick, and we're inside, and there's a flickering candlelight, and we hear, and it's a woman, mid-30s, rather attractive. Let's give her a name. So go to Ironlander names, and we're going to roll 3 on the left-hand side, and we roll a 31, which, it keeps giving me the wrong thing here. We roll a 31, which is Ikram. So Ikram, the lover of Kova, what is she like? We know she's his lover, but what else is she? She's a 00. She's an unusual role. Okay, lover makes sense. So let's start making up an NPC. Ikram. And so this is Kova's lover. Her goal is 278. Avenge a wrong. Okay. Her disposition toward Wiglaf is 54. Desperate. No, wanting. So she wants something. She wants to avenge a wrong. I'm getting an idea here. Descriptor. Let's see what the descriptors say. 44. Wild. And 09. Clever and wild. Interesting character. And her activity right now, 98 is inspecting. Okay, so she's inspecting the sound she just heard. And her location obviously is in Kova's domicile. And she is Kova's lover. Now, here's my idea. She wants to avenge a wrong. Is it possible that she's not here voluntarily? And that, in fact, she's here because Kova basically just took her. Maybe she's a member of Duskmoor that he just said, "You're mine." Maybe he kidnapped her from one of the surrounding settlements. But one way or another, did Kova just take her and she's here? Is she here willingly? And I'm going to say it's unlikely that she's here willingly. But we roll an 81, so she is here willingly. She's on Kova's side. So that means she's going to attempt to cry out. And Wiglaf is going to have to try to stop her. So, is he going to compel her? I think he is. I think he puts his spear right to her throat and says, "Don't make a sound, or whatever happens to me, you are dead." And we roll plus iron. And this is going to be, I think, our last move of the evening. We roll a 4, plus 3 is a 7. Against double 7s, guys, and we do not have enough momentum to do anything about it. That is a matched miss. And I think she's going to scream. So she cries out, "Kova!" And now Wiglaf is going to have to deal with her, potentially, although she's not really a combatant, and Kova, who's probably going to come running. But we will find that out in the next episode. Well, guys, I think this worked out in a way a lot better than I thought it would. And in that, I actually said, all right, let's see if we can get out. If we had rolled a miss right there, that would have been the end of it. It could have been the death of this character. We wouldn't have been able to get out. But I think it worked out okay. I did allow myself to expend experience. There aren't any rules in Ironsworn that say you can't expend experience while you're, on an adventure. I normally don't do that in games like D&D. I require my party, when I'm the DM, to be in a place where they can train and learn and think about what happened to them. They can't be like riding horses super fast across the plain and learn new spells. But I think in this case it makes sense that Wiglaf got a better spear because we found an opportunity, and that Griff became more ferocious because he was muzzled and treated badly by by the captors. And so in the next session, I think we're going to face Kova. I think that because we're in Kova's place, I think this counts as a milestone. So I'm going to go ahead and add that to stopping his reckless warmongering. After all, I think if we kill him, that might stop it. But we have to remember that Kova is a puppet of the Husk, our uncle Macius, who's now Valeri. So it's entirely possible that we could kill Kova if we get lucky, and even so, not stop the reckless warmongering because somebody else could just take over and replace him. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you're glad that we survived. I certainly am. Until next time, I am Scrapperlock, and this has been Ironsworn Antarctica.